Hey, what's going on everyone? So today the WowGo AT3 just released, and this is more of an informal video to just talk about my thoughts and feelings on the board. There's a lot of things that's going through my mind right now on the WowGo AT3. The WowGo AT2 is the first board, it's one of the first boards that I ever fully reviewed on my channel. The WowGo AT2 is kind of like the board that really kicked off my channel, so I'm kind of emotionally attached to this board. And today, the WowGo AT3 has just released after 2 years of silence, right? So I've owned the previous two versions. I owned the WowGo AT2 and the WowGo AT2 Plus. The WowGo AT2 was the first AT board to come out after Evolve's GTR series, and only at $1,000, and it comes stock with pneumatic tires. At the time, back in 2021, that was groundbreaking. WowGo was the first company to come out with like an Evolve clone, but at less than half the price. It was incredibly cheap, it was super good for that time, and it generated a lot of buzz. To this day, the WowGo AT2 is one of my highest viewed videos on my channel, and rightfully so. But after 2 years of radio silence, they finally pumped out the WowGo AT3. When I look at this board, I'm like, it doesn't look like a successor to the WowGo AT3, like not in any way, shape, or form. And the rumor is that the WowGo engineer who designed the WowGo AT2 and the AT2 Plus actually left WowGo to go to another e-skate manufacturer about 2 years ago. So they don't have anyone to design new boards for like a whole year because their engineers have left during that period of time. And now they finally come out with the WowGo AT3, and what made the WowGo AT2 special was their deck. It's a super fun, flexible bamboo deck that's painted black. They're one of the few companies that actually paint their bamboo decks black, so it looks like carbon fiber but rides like a bamboo deck. I love to ride bamboo decks, but I just don't like how they look. I don't like the wooden look. I like the carbon fiber look. So this is like the perfect thing for WowGo. But this year, for their WowGo AT3, they actually just went full carbon fiber. This whole thing is going to be super stiff. It's no longer going to be like the Carver, the fun, nimble board that it is. It's going to be like a lumbering log that's just meant to go fast. So in my mind, it should be called like the WowGo AT Carbon or something like that, rather than continuing the name of the AT2. Hopefully they'll come out with a bamboo version of this board, because that's the version that I want. I usually don't like carbon fiber boards just because they don't carve as well and they're not super fun. It's just meant to go fast, which I don't like to do, right? So yeah, go over the specs really quick. Its top speed is rated for 34 miles per hour, and the range is 34 miles as well. These ranges usually don't mean anything. They usually have like a really light person go at a really slow speed on the flat ground. So I would want to test this like in real world. Usually my kind of calculation for myself as a kind of 200-pound person is I would just take 30% out of whatever range spec that they give me. 34 miles, you subtract, maybe like 9 or 10 miles away from it, then you get 22 miles. I think 22 miles of range is probably a better range estimate for this board. Looking at the battery, it's great. They're still using the Molicel P42A cells. A lot of manufacturers are moving towards Samsung 50S for cost saving purposes. So it's good to see that WowGo is actually using one of the more expensive cells here. It's got a 14S 4P configuration, which is pretty good. 4P is kind of like the minimum to be a good board. If you have a 3P, that means voltage sack is going to be really significant after 50% of the battery. So I'm glad to see that it's using 4P, and it's using 14S, which will give you a better and higher top speed. So I don't know why it's still like 34 miles per hour. 14S could very well propel you to close to 40 miles per hour. But that could be because of the setup. Maybe you can change like the gearing, the teeth or something like that and still be able to achieve that speed. 847 watt hours. I'll get back to this a little bit. but I do think 847 watt hours of battery for an $1,800 board that's not Evolve is kind of little. It's really small, but I'll get back to this in a second. It's using a 3K carbon fiber deck. That's fine, looks about the same. It's using the dual 6384 Dongqing Wei motors. It's bigger than the the 6374 motors, just slightly. So my understanding is that you'll see a little bit more torque, but when the difference is so small, you're probably not going to see too much of a difference. The trucks are 11.5 inches, which to me seems to be a little bit narrow because the trucks, I wanted to see a little bit bigger trucks just so that, because this board is carbon fiber now, it's got bigger motors, it's meant to go faster. I would like to see more stability, but it's using an 11.5 inch CNC TKP trucks, so traditional Kimpin trucks. It's kind of good that they're not using double Kimpin trucks. If you don't like to kind of carve too much, traditional Kimpin trucks will still carve okay, right? But because the deck is fully carbon fiber, you're not going to get any flex. That you're fully dependent on your trucks to make those turns for you. And then if you use a traditional Kimpin truck, that just means that the board is built for stability. Okay, so the ESC is using a Hobbywing 14S ESC. This is an ESC that I've never heard of. Maybe they're just saying the brand name and how much voltage it will take. But I think the key here is how much amp the ESC will take, which isn't kind of displayed here. I think this is the most important thing, and this isn't on any of the emails or the landing pages that WowGo has sent out. We have 4 parallels of P42A cells. Each parallel could produce up to 45 amps. That gives you about 180 amps of battery current. Normally, ESCs don't handle up to that amount, right? So when you're looking at something like an A-Stack ESC, they handle up to roughly 140 amps. I don't know how much amps it will handle. The thing is, this is absolutely crucial because a lot of the boards on the market today can't use all of the current output from the batteries, and it's just being wasted. So I contacted my WowGo rep and asked them, hey, what is the amp here, right? So if you're using something, say like above 100 amps, then you're gonna have a great board with really good acceleration. But if they're using a cheap ESC that can only handle low amps, then that's going to be your bottleneck for the entire system. And I just find it to be a little bit suspicious that they didn't list it here. Most high quality boards would kind of list this information, which is really crucial. So they didn't. Next, we have 7-inch pneumatic wheels with 6061 T6 aluminum. This is pretty standard. Cool thing is they make these cute little caps to hide the axle nuts, which is cool, I guess. And then you can use the smart app. WowGo uses the Tuya app for connection, so you can customize your speeds for each different modes. And it comes with a 3 amp charger. 3 amp charger for a 16.8 amp hour battery is really slow. It's going to take somewhere around close to 6 hours to charge your board. I mean, for an $1,800 board, charging 6 hours to fully charge it is pretty bad. But charging your board slow is good for your batteries, but they should at least include an option to fast charge it should you choose. Couple of the redeeming factors that I can think of, which is not many, to justify this price is really the Molicel P42A batteries. A lot of the manufacturers that I know have already moved to 50S cells away from Molicels, and some manufacturers are beginning the process to move from Molicel P42A batteries to Samsung 50S, either cost cutting or whatever it is that they're doing. But it is good to see that WowGo AT3 is sticking to the P42A, the best cells in the industry. Next, we have the new ESCs. I really don't know too much about these ESCs, how much voltage they can take, how much amp they can take, what is the bus current, what is the phase current, because the ESC is really the part that's regulating the battery currents that we know is going to be good coming from the battery pack into the motors. We also know the motors is going to be pretty good too, right? 6384. So it's the new ESC that needs to prove itself to be good. But these two things really don't justify such high prices. One more thing that's going for the WowGo AT3 is that it's one of the OG names. It's one of the original kind of AT boards that ever came out, right? But I think they have squandered this name by not producing anything new in the last 2 years. And WowGo has been, as a brand, and their skateboards have been kind of relegated to a very minor position in today's market. So they need to come back with a bang. And it's understandable that they're kind of using the AT3 name to continue that legacy. But let's see what is going against it at the current price range. It's not a bad board. I'm just talking about the value of it at the price range in which they're currently asking for. And I think it's a little expensive. I woke up this morning on Facebook and I've already seen posts on this board, and almost 100% of everybody who ever commented on these posts are saying that it looks too expensive. And I completely agree with that, right? So if you just look at a close competitor that also came out earlier this year, which was the A-Stack Nomad N3. A-Stack Nomad N3 has double the battery capacity using Mollicell P42A at the same price. Literally doubled the battery capacity, okay? And it has gear drives installed. It has the latest 4.0 gear drives from A-Stack installed, and it has integrated LEDs, and it has a bunch of other accessories such as bull bars, anti-crash bars at the front, completely installed. And A-Stack is known for very, very good customer service. At $1,800 for the WowGo AT3, they don't have double the battery, they don't have gear drive, they're using simple belt drives. Belt drives is good, I love belt drives, but I just think you shouldn't charge that much if you're using a belt drive system. There's no integrated LEDs on this board. So if you look at what A-Stack is bringing to the table at $1,800, the WowGo AT3 should be somewhere around $1,400 to be an okay price. Yeah. And also, I think the last thing that's going against it is the design of the deck and the grip tape. It just looks like it's the last thing that they thought of. The design of the grip tape, it's just so ugly. It looks like just a giant square that's kind of haphazardly slapped into the middle. And then the grip tape, it's kind of ugly. It's this white, red, and black look that doesn't look like anything. Yeah, I don't know. Like, when I look at the WowGo AT2 Plus design, this design rocks. It looks so good. And if you look at the OG design, it's simple, but yet it's effective. This one, it just looks all over the place. The shape don't look that it's fitting in, the colors don't look matching. I don't know, but I do think it's going to be an acceptable price at $1,400. Let me know what you think about this board, and whether if you think $1,800 is a good price, and if this board would be something that's good for you to buy at $1,400. So I did send a request into WowGo to review this board, and they said they are reviewing my application to review this board. So hopefully I will get it, and once I do get it, I'll definitely make a good review on it, and also compare this to the previous WowGo AT2 Plus and WowGo AT2s that I still own, because those are really, really good boards. And yeah, thank you, and let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you, and have a good day.